Okay, welcome CNM students to assignment number 1 in Financial Literacy, Fin 1010, on terminology. And we're going to take a step back for a moment. Why do we care about terminology? What the meaning of words? Let's look at a word that isn't assigned. It's culture. And you all know what this means. Let's read this first definition here. An integrated pattern of human knowledge, belief, and behavior that depends upon the capacity for symbolic thought and social learning. Simplify this, and this is knowing how to function in a social group. Social group could be your family. You know the rules of your family. You know how to act at dinner. You know how to act at a family function. And if you don't act properly, you can get laughed at or teased, or you can get in trouble with your family. Well, regardless of your socio-economic background or your ethnic background, they can be very diverse. People taking this class come from many different backgrounds. But if you're taking this class, you all share a common heritage and a common culture, which is the culture of finance in the United States. If you don't know how to act, just like if you don't know how to act at home or at a family function or in a school group, you can get laughed at or teased or possibly even get in trouble. This is very important. If you make a mistake in the culture of finance, if you do something wrong or you don't understand how something works, it can cost you a lot of money. Worst of all, it can sentence you to a life of poverty. So this is a very, very serious matter. And not understanding how our culture works is going to put you at a disadvantage. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to opt out of this culture. You're all a part of it. So let's go to the assignment. And that one, let's go to assignment number 1. In Blackboard. So we're in the assignment tab. This is assignment number 1. And every single assignment this term is going to have some terms for you to define. Now, the goal of this course is not to make you an expert or not to have you memorize a bunch of terms. It's all open book, open note. And what's important for us is that you understand that the words in finance do have very specific meanings. You're certainly not going to learn them all in this class. But hopefully by understanding that they do have very exact contractual meanings, you'll know that you can't operate at a deficit. If someone is using financial terminology or you're reading into a contract, you can't assume you know what they mean. All right, every time we assign a term for you to define, you not only have to give the financial definition, but you also have to tell how you relate to that term. After all, this course is about you. So if we're going to ask about a term like producer, you're going to have to tell how you relate to that term. How are you a producer? So in order to define the terms within the Web Links tab, I've given you a number of resources. Here you've got theeconomist.com, which is a very high-level newspaper out of the UK that's read by scientists and economists and professors, people high in banking and in the UK and the US. And I've also given you a financial dictionary that a professor from Duke University has put together. So let's take a look at, we had 3 terms. We had producer, consumer, and GDP. So let's take a look at what theeconomist.com has for producer. All right, so here's theeconomist.com's website. And I see here they've got a term for production. There's producer surplus, producer prices. Gosh, there's not one that says producer exactly. Now, I understand that, and I do that because I want for you to have to work at these terms a little bit. I don't want you to just be able to go and copy and paste. But keep into consideration when you're looking at these productivity and producer prices, production function. We're talking about measuring things that you do. So what is in economics and in finance, what is the best way that we measure things? Or really the only way that we measure things is with money. Now you're going to study later in this assignment that not everything that's important in life that we can measure in money. We can't measure smiles in money. But we can measure hours worked in money. If you're selling your time to McDonald's, they pay you $8 an hour. You're producing $8 an hour of work. So keep in mind that the financial terms are generally going to be somehow tied to currency, tied to money as a measurement tool. So this is what's in the economist.com for money. And let's take a look at the Economist for consumer. And again, we don't have an exact definition of consumer, but here's consumption. And you can think, if production are things that are measured in dollars, how about consumption? That would be things that are measured in dollars also. So yes, we all breathe, and you can say that you may think that you consume air, but from a financial standpoint, you're not consuming air because you don't have to buy it, at least not yet. I also have on here the definitions from the Duke Dictionary, and again, just to show you that they're not exactly like for producer and consumer. There is an exact definition for gross domestic product, and see, it's talking about the market value of goods and services. Well, how do you know what the market value is? Oh, that's what people are paying for things. So those are all good definitions. I've put those resources in the web links for you to take a look at. But I want for you to put the definitions in your own words, and again, tell me how you relate to the terms. That's what's very, very important. Now let's go back to Assignment 1 tab, and you'll notice number 2, I'm asking about 5 things that you consume. Number 3 is 3 things that you produce. I'm giving you a couple of hints there. What do producers and consumers use as a medium of exchange? Okay. Number 5, a lot of this course is going to be your personal research, being able to go to websites. So what we're having you do in number 5 is go to the ftc.gov website, Federal Trade Commission. And they're the federal agency that is tasked with consumer protection. So there's a lot of things on there about how you can, how consumers can be protected. And all I want for you to do is research. Learn 5 things from that website and tell us about what you learned on the website. All we're looking for is your ability to convey to us in writing things that you learned through research on this website. So no 2 answers are going to be exactly alike. Number 6, you're going to have to copy and paste this web link into your browser. But this is a speech given by Bobby Kennedy back in 1968 talking about gross national product, which is roughly the same as gross domestic product, but talking about the importance of gross domestic product, and keeping in mind that sometimes maybe that's not the only thing that we should be looking at. So even though the culture of finance is important, money is not everything. Last thing that you need to do in this assignment, you'll notice in the attachments here, I've got a NIPA table. That's the National Income and Product Account Tables. This is all the government statistics. So I've downloaded an Excel spreadsheet for you, and you need to download that and take a look at it. I want for you to make sure that you download that before you submit this assignment, because you need this Excel worksheet when you take the assessment in Quiz 1. All I'm having you do is go to that Excel worksheet, look at a couple of numbers. You might have to do a couple of math calculations, addition, subtraction, and division, but it's very simple. I just want to make sure that you're looking at that table. So good luck on your first assignment. Contact your teacher, work with your facilitator if you need any help, and good luck in Financial Literacy 1010.